Hi there. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Government is serious about protecting the population from the Zika virus. Last week, Health Minister Horace Daly said $10 million was being spent to upgrade a UWI Mona campus lab to test for Zika virus locally.
We will be investing in the university virology lab to ensure that they have the capacity.
And even as government puts the necessary measures in place, you too have a responsibility to keep yourself safe from the mosquito-borne infection.
All the people then when I want Zig V, hold up your hand. Zig V in the Caribbean territory, but we now want that virus take set pan we. So make sure send no stagnant water inside and mash up all mosquito breed inside. More hole in the tin them where you dash way and change the water in your vase every day. No later dispose of your garbage proper. You know them the thing that we turn drain back. Tour your community and tour your yard for suppress mosquito. We have figure hard dash we old tire turn over drum pan for prevention is the greatest weapon. And special shout out to pregnant ladies. Protect yourselves and protect your babies. Draw for your zapper and your mosquito spray. If you do all that we can to keep them away. For we know what's in vain.
Good day, I'm Tamar McHale and this is your GIS News for Monday, January 25. For the second year running, Jamaica has been ranked the best place in the Caribbean to do business.
Forbes magazine has just released its ranking of best countries to do business. Jamaica has moved up to 59 from 64 last time.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller was speaking Friday as she opened Sutherland Global Services' New Kingston office. With the business process outsourcing BPO sector generating over $500 million annually, the Prime Minister said her government would expand opportunities in the sector. Mrs. Simpson Miller added that the 8 BPO companies operating in Jamaica had 5-year plans that would create almost 6,000 new jobs.
It is therefore important that the government continues to provide an enabling environment. We will continue to facilitate these companies and new players wishing to enter the industry.
Meanwhile, co-chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, Richard Biles, says Jamaica's macroeconomic indicators are showing positive results.
Debt to GDP is better, current account deficit is better, inflation is lower, employment is better.
Mr. Biles, who was speaking on JIS TV's Issues and Answers, said while the public may take a while to feel the impact of Jamaica's economic reform program, there have been results. He pointed to the North Coast, which is booming in terms of jobs and investments.
Hotels are being built, 2,000 rooms were refurbished and are now open in that place of Ocherios to Negril. 2,500 are under construction today. So people in that area see it, and even if their circumstances not what they would like it to be, they can see that something is happening.
And you can watch the full interview with Mr. Biles this Sunday during Jamaica Magazine. Government has invested over $1.5 billion in sport infrastructure since 2012. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller made the disclosure as she opened a new sporting complex at Calabar High in St. Andrew. The $66 million complex houses the first IAAF standard all-weather synthetic track at a school, as well as a football field.
I think we have started a trend of installing world-class running tracks in Jamaica. When these tracks are installed, it is not only track and field which benefits. Football and cricket have also had positive spin-offs from the new infrastructure development.
The complex was constructed by German manufacturer BSW Regupol through a partnership involving the government, the Calabar Old Boys Association, and the private sector.
Grace Kennedy has been persuaded to make an initial contribution of $5 million Jamaican dollars to build sanitary facilities as the next phase of development of the track.
Prosecutors are now being guided by a manual which was recently launched by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The prosecutor's manual will provide guidance on how to deal with issues such as disclosure, extradition, bail, code of conduct, and plea negotiation.
I think it represents a significant achievement for Jamaica to have a document like that developed and published, so that those who have published it can be held to account by the standards that they have set for themselves.
The prosecutor's manual was funded by the Canadian government under its Justice Undertaking for Social Transformation JUST program. The manual is the first of its kind in Jamaica's legal history. And finally, more young children with disabilities are set to benefit from a new $87 million multipurpose facility. Labour and Social Security Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson broke ground for the facility last Wednesday. The building is being constructed by the Early Stimulation Program with funds from the Inter-American Development Bank.
We believe that this is part of the social protection program, up close and personal. And where we are, one, it will be speaking to increasing access and coverage, particularly of vulnerable population groups such as persons with disability.
The new structure will have a number of amenities, including 3 assessment rooms with bathrooms, a speech therapy room, physiotherapy room, and a green space. And that's it for GIS News today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching. Fever, rash, joint pain, and red eyes. All common signs of the Zika virus or ZIKV. Symptoms are usually mild, lasting anywhere from a few days to a week. Jamaica has no Zika cases, but if it gets here, it would only be transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. Don't give Zika a chance. Prevent the breeding of these pesky mosquitoes.
The use of oil, cooking oil, a little tip of cooking oil poured on the surface of the water, suffocates the larvae and prevents them hatching out. So persons can do that.
ZIKV preparations were also a top priority for the Office of the Prime Minister last week. So too was updating the country on the government's work to increase growth. Sport, the National Leadership Prayer Breakfast, and the opening of another BPO outlet were also on the agenda at Jamaica House. Take a look.
This is Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Jamaica's Zika virus prevention and response plan was a top priority for the Office of the Prime Minister last week. Information Minister Senator Sandra Faulkner said the matter was being treated with a sense of national urgency. She told Wednesday's Jamaica House media briefing that Cabinet received an update on Jamaica's Zika-related activities
and has instructed that the Health Ministry and related agencies do what they must to reduce the impact of ZIKV on our people. We believe that the best way to address the ZIKV challenge is through prevention.
The Zika virus is spread by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, the same mosquito that transmits dengue and chikungunya. Persons are reminded to destroy mosquito breeding sites and prevent mosquito bites. There are no confirmed cases of the Zika virus in Jamaica.
I congratulate the Jamaica Stock Exchange on this signal achievement. This is undoubtedly one of the clearest signs that the Jamaican economy is improving.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller reacting to news that the Jamaica Stock Exchange JSE was the best performer in the world in 2015, growing by over 90%. She was addressing the JSE's 11th Annual Investments and Capital Markets Conference last Monday. Mrs. Simpson-Miller said her administration was focusing on investment-led growth through infrastructural development. She said the North-South Highway, which is on track for completion by March, was a major part of that thrust.
With this new highway, new opportunities for housing development, trade expansion, real estate and tourism investments will be opened up.
And the Prime Minister has also underscored government's commitment to boosting the business process outsourcing sector. She was speaking last Friday at the official opening of Sutherland Global Services' New Kingston office.
Currently, we have 8 of the BPO companies operating in Jamaica have 5-year expansion plans that could create almost 6,000 additional jobs.
Against this background, the Prime Minister said the Factories Corporation of Jamaica would be increasing operational space at the Barnett Tech Park in Montego Bay, the Montego Bay Free Zone and the Portmore Technology Park. She added that the government, through the Development Bank of Jamaica, was offering a special loan facility for those wishing to invest in the BPO sector. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller created history last Friday by opening an all-weather synthetic track at Calabar High in St. Andrew, the first of its kind for a secondary institution in the Caribbean. The track was constructed by German manufacturer BSW Regapol at a cost of $66 million. It was funded by a number of stakeholders, including the Calabar Old Boys Association.
The government of Jamaica, through the Sports Development Foundation and the Tourism Enhancement Fund, contributed $30 million towards the purchase and installation of this new track.
The initiative forms part of the $250 million high school sport infrastructure improvement program. Meanwhile, Minister with responsibility for sport Natalie Nita Headley last Wednesday endorsed the second staging of Digicel's Grand Prix Athletics Championship, saying it supports the development of Jamaica's sporting industry.
Every dollar you invest is a dollar less we have to find from the national budget, and sometimes a dollar that we cannot find from the national budget to make these things possible.
The Digicel Grand Prix will run from February 6 to 20. High schools from across the island will compete in 7 events in 6 development meets. The event will culminate at the G.C. Foster College in St. Catherine, where a new IAAF certified track was installed.
Do not underestimate the importance of these development meets. They unearth the talent. They encourage competition and excellence. And they give the athletes goals at which to aim. They are the game changers.
The 36th National Leadership Prayer Breakfast was also a priority for Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller and her cabinet last week. The event was held under the theme, Righteousness Exalts the Nation.
And I'm sure that all of us who are gathered here today must be leaving here feeling truly blessed. And I am sure that if we continue to look to the Master, we will continue to reap rich rewards.
Also on the itinerary of the Prime Minister, she met with Jamaica's ambassador to Washington, Ralph Thomas, who had been in the position since last year. Ambassador Thomas will move to strengthen Jamaica-US relations following his 2-year stint as the Jamaican ambassador to China. Head of the European delegation to Jamaica, Ambassador Paola Amadei, also paid a courtesy call on the Prime Minister. Trade talks with head of the World Trade Organization, His Excellency Roberto Azevedo, during his official visit to Jamaica, also helped to strengthen partnerships, address imbalances, and explore additional markets for Jamaica. Jamaica-Cuba relations were also deepened as the Prime Minister participated in a reception to commemorate the 57th anniversary of the triumph of the Cuban Revolution. And on a lighter note, there was a meet and greet session with representatives of the Jamaica Stock Exchange at Vale Royal, the official residence of the Prime Minister. And that's it for this week's edition of Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next week for the latest from the Office of the Prime Minister.
Minister Noel Arscott and State Minister Colin Fagan oversaw several game-changing initiatives at the local and community level in 2015. Watch as we review the major happenings in the local government and community development ministry.
The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development is working to make our communities the heartbeat of national development. The changes proposed in this legislation are the best means of accommodating local government as an active, functional organ of development within the Constitution at this time. These companion bills, the Local Governance Bill, the Financing and Financial Management Bill, and the Unified Service and Employment Bill, constitute the most comprehensive attempt to reform local government to date.
Read a third time and passed.
I seek the approval of this Honourable House for the postponement of local government elections.
A bill entitled An Act to Postpone the Holding of a General Election read a third time and passed.
At the end of this project, it is our expectation that more high-value development applications will be processed within a 90-day period or less.
Jamaica's ranking has significantly improved in the World Bank's Doing Business report. The area dealing with construction permits, we have moved from 52 in the 2014 report to 26.
If we're in charge of having a power cut, we have a hurricane, when even JPS is out, this one will be there.
Now we have 138 viable projects at the community level, creating employment of around 839 persons.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito.
Zika is new, so when it comes, there's nobody who is immune.
We have approximately $12.2 million in regard to drain cleaning that we are doing from the municipal council right across Portmore. And while we are doing drain cleaning, we are doing fogging.
Because we believe that the best way to drive down the incidence of fires generally, but bushfires particularly, is through education.
You are a welcome addition to the Jamaica Fire Brigade's current staff complement. Your certification is another indication of our ambition to provide the country with a first-rate fire service.
We have pulled firefighters from other parts of the country.
All indications are based on the reports from the police that it points to arson. Fire was extinguished in 12 days. I want to ensure the public that clear steps are being taken to solve the problems.
We put a fire suppression system in place, and we only now have just about 3 of the 120 acres open at any time.
And the tipping cells have been re-established.
So the risk of fire, many major fires, is virtually eliminated.
The NSWMA will undertake a pilot in 6 communities across the corporate area and St. Catherine. Now we are taking really the new type of electronics.
Construction of this access road is a critical driver for expanding commercial activities.
Cabinet has approved a contract for the purchase of 17 Renault garbage compactor trucks for the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
We have also advertised our executive director position. I'm satisfied that over the past few months we've managed to put in place much greater controls over the assets and particularly the flow of cash within the organization.
With the start of Reggae Month a week away, we thought we'd give you something to look forward to in the month of February. Take a look at our indigenous music in all its forms.
Relax, man, we'll soon get there. In fact, we are here, the Institute of Jamaica. This is where we're going.
What is this, Grandpa?
When you go in, you'll see. Come on, let's go.
Oh, where's a carry me someplace me no want go.
You say you want to be a musician? Well, you have to come here. Let me show you where the music is coming from. Step inside. See, this is where I want it to come. You see how far Jamaican music coming from, Kadim? These are Tainas, the first people, and see, they're playing drums and dancing. And look at these African instruments. That's when the first Africans came to Jamaica. Now, I bet you don't know what this instrument is.
Rumba box?
It is a rumba box, and you hear that in what kind of music now?
Mento.
Mento, that's what makes the mento music so sweet. Now, look at this. This is jazz music. Jamaica had a rich tradition of jazz. Coming right out of Alpha Boys School, you see it? Right after jazz, the same jazz musicians were playing R&B.
I found my thrill.
That came from America. And when the R&B dried up from America, then they started making Jamaican R&B. Jamaican turned the R&B around and made their own Jamaican style of R&B music, which then led to ska.
It was the beginning of independence. Ska was looked upon as the new sound of Jamaica. We find in our own identity, not following the American R&B or the ballad or the middle of the road kind of music that was coming from North America and Europe. And so it was very nationalist in its outlook and output.
Gather together, be brothers and sisters, we're independent. Join hands to hands, children started to dance, we're independent. Oh, be sad and blue. The Lord is still with you. God bless, no one curse. Thank God I'm not the worst.
Seems like the music always speak about social issues.
A lot of the music is about social issues. After all, life is music and music is life. After ska, you got Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, the rhythm, the ska still continue, but the bass rock. And the guitar and the piano, ska same way. But the bass, the emphasis on the bass, so you fall back on you.
Well, it look as if we can hear music here.
I like this, Grandpa.
This
nice.
is Rocksteady. No, you should have seen me and your grandmother in those days. Rocking steady.
Yeah, Grandpa.
Yes. That's Alton Ellis, you know. Yeah. Great Rocksteady singer. Let me turn down the people things here. Next thing, they throw us out of here. And go back to watch this thing.
But Grandpa, you've been talking about Jamaican music for how long now? And until now, I haven't heard anything about reggae.
Well, we're coming right up to reggae now. Here we are, reggae. Well, first of all, many people say that reggae was born at Sir Coxson's Studio 1 on Brentford Road.
Clement Dad brought a piece of machinery to the studio for about a year. It was sitting there. And no one knew exactly what to do with it. And so they hooked it up one day and decided to implement it. And they discovered it was a tape delay. And so they hooked it into the machine and they started doing it into the recording. So when they put the guitar sound through the tape delay, it comes back saying, the rest of studios hearing this recording out, they thought it was the guitar making that and just copied that, and that was the birth of reggae music.
I want to do the reggae, girl, with you. Yeah, come on to me.
Here are some of the great artists who came out of that. Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Bonnie Livingston, the Wailers, Burning Spear, and so on. Now, reggae was also a way of life. It was the greatest advertisement for Rastafari.
I think it's my time to teach you a little bit.
What can you teach me?
Come right here, sir.
Oh, dancehall. I know that's when you were going to get happy.
It was just a little bit different in the 80s where you have more artists that come and you have to compete with artists like every day, and the dancehall vibes. When you go into the dancehall, you know, you have to just hold the mic to get a bus. And now it's different. You just have a CD, go to the radio station and get some airplay.
The 90s had these persons like Beanie Man, Lady Saw, and Bounty Killer. Up to today, Beanie Man and Bounty Killer still have swag. Right now, we have producers that are artists, artists that are producers, and radio jocks who are doing both. With technology, the music is now diverse.
We are accepting music on a broader scale. One time gone till you want to hear hip-hop music or techno music being played in a dancehall setting. And that is happening right now. A lot of pop music is being accepted. Disco music, techno music, electro house music is being accepted right now. Hip-hop music is widely accepted right now. So we as Jamaican, we are listening to a wide cross-section of music.
That means that we took music and turned it into Jamaican music, and we have given it back to the world, and everything has now come together. Kadeem, the tour done. See, it wasn't that bad after all.
For real, Grandpa. Really inspired by all of this. Well, out of many, we're really one music.
And you might yet become a good musician.
Thanks, Grandpa.
Yes.
And that's how we close the pages of Jamaica Magazine for today. Your feedback is essential as we improve to serve you better. So please email us at jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, or visit our website. There's also a mobile app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, thanking you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.